It's been years since Ty left Heartland, but something in season 19 feels different. From the very first minute, there's a quiet tension, like the wind before a storm. Amy walks through the ranch field, her face calm, but her eyes searching. It's as if she feels someone's presence, someone she once loved deeply. And when that familiar guitar theme plays in the background, fans can't help but wonder, is Ty really coming back? Or is Heartland about to play with our hearts again? Season 19 opens with a sunrise over Heartland Ranch. The sky is painted gold and pink, and the horses run freely across the pasture. It's a beautiful start, but there's a heaviness in the air, something that tells us that peace doesn't last long here. Amy steps out of the barn, brushing off dust from her gloves. Her movements are steady, but her expression is thoughtful, almost distant. She's older, wiser, and stronger now, but there's a quiet sadness that hasn't left her. The ranch feels familiar, yet changed. The old fences have been repaired, and new life has returned after seasons of pain and healing. Jack is sitting on the porch, watching Amy like he always does, silently, protectively. Lou is busy handling her work calls, walking fast with that mix of confidence and chaos that fans love her for. Life at Heartland goes on, but under that daily rhythm, you can feel something waiting to happen. The show doesn't rush into drama. Instead, it builds a soft tension, like the slow tightening of a knot dot as the first few minutes pass. The episode makes sure to remind us what Heartland is really about: family, resilience, and the power of coming home. You can almost smell the hay, hear the birds, and feel that Alberta breeze. Every frame feels like a return to memories, both warm and painful. The storytelling takes its time, letting us reconnect with Amy's world, a world that once felt complete when Ty was part of it. Then comes a moment that stops Amy in her tracks. While cleaning the stable, she finds an old leather bracelet, one that Ty used to wear. It's covered in dust, forgotten under the hay, but it instantly pulls her back in time. The camera lingers on her face as she holds it, and we see a flood of emotions she's trying to hide. This simple object becomes a doorway to the past, a reminder of the love that defined her life. She doesn't say anything, but her silence speaks louder than words. The music shifts, soft piano notes blending with that familiar Heartland melody. This is where the emotional tone of the episode begins to rise. You can feel that the writers are preparing us for something big, something that touches the deepest part of Amy's heart. Through her stillness, through her small gestures, we understand that she's never really let go. Even after everything, the pain, the loss, the years, Ty is still a part of her every thought. As the scene transitions to the open field, we see Amy watching the horses run. The camera pans slowly, giving the audience space to feel what she feels, freedom mixed with longing. This opening doesn't rely on words or loud emotions. Instead, it builds through quiet storytelling to the natural beauty of Heartland itself. It's a poetic beginning that promises reflection, nostalgia, and maybe a miracle. By the end of this first section, we're not just watching another episode. We're stepping back into a story that feels deeply personal. The air is filled with memories, the ranch holds secrets, and Amy's eyes tell us that something or someone is about to return. Amy has always been strong, not the loud, showy kind of strong, but the quiet strength that grows out of heartbreak. In season 19, episode 1, that strength is tested in ways that feel deeply human. The episode doesn't rush into her emotions. It lets them breathe, unfold naturally. Like the slow rhythm of the ranch itself, Amy's days start early, feeding the horses, tending to clients, helping Lindy with her schoolwork. But behind her calm face, there's a storm that never truly ends. Every corner of the ranch reminds her of Ty. The barn, the trails, even the sound of the wind hitting the old wooden fences. Everything holds a memory. She doesn't run from them anymore. Instead, she lives with them, like they're part of the land itself. There's a scene where she's brushing Spartan, her loyal horse, and she suddenly stops. For a second, she closes her eyes and breathes in deeply. It's almost as if she can still feel Ty's hand resting gently on hers, the way he used to calm the horses together. No words are spoken, but the silence carries more emotion than any dialogue could. Heartland has always been about healing through connection, and here, Amy's healing feels different. It's not about forgetting or moving on, it's about learning to carry love and loss at the same time. The writers do something beautiful with this part of the episode. They show Amy as both fragile and fierce. She helps a client's horse that's been acting wild, clearly mirroring her own emotional chaos. The horse won't let anyone near it, kicking and snorting, but Amy approaches with patience. Her voice trembles at first, but as she whispers soothing words, we see her regaining control not just over the horse, but over her heart. The cinematography supports her emotional journey perfectly. The camera often stays close to Amy's face, catching the small tremors in her expression, a soft smile that fades too soon, a deep breath that turns into a sigh. The colors are muted, washed in golden light, symbolizing both warmth and grief. Everything about these moments feels real, grounded, and deeply intimate. The audience isn't just watching Amy heal, we're feeling it with her. One of the most touching moments comes when Amy finds herself sitting alone by the river at dusk. The water glows orange from the fading sunlight, and the gentle sound of ripples blends with a haunting piano theme. She takes out Ty's bracelet, the one she found earlier, and holds it tightly. You can tell she's been avoiding this kind of moment for years, facing her grief directly, without distraction. Her voice breaks softly as she says, almost to herself, "You'd know what to do." It's not dramatic, not loud, it's heartbreak in its purest form. Later, she visits Marian's grave, her mother's resting place, a location that has always been a silent witness to Amy's biggest life moments. She kneels beside the grave, her voice gentle but filled with emotion. She talks about how hard it's been to move forward, how she's trying to raise Lindy with the same love she once shared with Ty. Her words are a confession, but also a release. The act of speaking them out loud seems to lift a burden from her shoulders. For the first time, Amy's grief doesn't feel heavy, it feels like acceptance. Back at the ranch, Lindy runs up to her, laughing about something Jack said at dinner. Amy smiles, really smiles this time. It's a small moment, but it feels powerful because of how rare it's become. There's warmth in her eyes, the kind of light that flickers back to life after years of being dim. You can see that Ty's memory isn't just haunting her anymore. It's guiding her, giving her strength. The episode uses these gentle shifts to show how Amy's emotional world is changing. It's not a single turning point, but a gradual process of rediscovery. She's learning to live again, not as half of a couple, but as a whole person who carries love, pain, and purpose within her. This makes Amy's character feel more layered than ever before. She's not the same young woman who once relied on Ty to fix things. Now, she's the one who steadies others, who helps them heal even when she's still learning how to do it herself. By the end of this section, it becomes clear that Amy's journey isn't about erasing the past, it's about honoring it. Every glance toward the horizon, every quiet moment with a horse, every deep breath, they all remind her that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering with peace instead of pain. And as the episode closes this emotional chapter, a faint sense of hope begins to rise, carried by the golden light over the ranch. Something is coming, something that will change everything Amy thought she knew about love, loss, and destiny. The moment fans have been waiting for doesn't crash into the story like thunder. It arrives softly, like a memory that refuses to fade. Ty's presence begins not with sight, but with sound. A distant echo, a familiar tone in the wine, something that tugs at Amy's heart before she can understand why. The ranch feels alive in a different way, as if the land itself knows he's near. It starts one early morning when Amy steps outside. The sky still gray with dawn. The air feels heavier, colder. She looks toward the horizon, and for a second, the world around her stands still. The sound of hooves breaks the silence, steady, rhythmic, hauntingly familiar. Amy's eyes follow the sound, but there's nothing there. Just mist and the long stretch of pasture, yet something inside her changes. The music swells, that old Heartland guitar melody that used to follow Ty's scenes. For longtime fans, it's more than a sound. It's a heartbeat returning after too long. The camera lingers on Amy's face, and we can see her struggle to hold on to logic. Maybe it's just her imagination. Maybe grief is playing its old tricks again. But when she walks into the barn, she finds something impossible. The stall door that hasn't been opened in years is unlatched, and a small carving on the wood reads simply, "Keep riding." That was Ty's phrase, the one he used when life got too hard. Amy stares at it, her breath caught between disbelief and longing. Her fingers trace the letters slowly, almost afraid that touching them will make them disappear. She doesn't call out his name. She doesn't move. The silence between her heartbeats is enough to say everything. This isn't just nostalgia. This feels like a sign. Throughout the episode, the idea of Ty's return plays like a beautiful mystery. He doesn't just walk into the frame. His presence builds through memory, emotion, and energy. The writers blur the line between dream and reality in a way that feels almost spiritual. Amy starts seeing glimpses of him in the reflection of the river, in the corner of her eye, in the way a horse moves as if guided by an invisible hand. It's never confirmed whether these visions are real or imagined, but each one pushes her closer to believing in something beyond loss. One evening, as Amy finished working in the stables, she hears a soft voice behind her, calm, deep, familiar. It says her name, Amy. She freezes. The sound is faint, like wine through the rafters, but she knows it instantly. The camera doesn't show his face. It only stays on her reaction. Her eyes fill with cares, her lips tremble, but she doesn't turn around. It's not fear, it's that she's afraid if she looks, the moment will vanish. The voice speaks again, this time closer. "You're doing great." She closes her eyes, a tear slipping down her cheek. And just like that, the presence fades, leaving only silence and the sound of horses breathing softly in their stalls. The next morning, Amy tells Jack about it. She laughs it off at first, calling it a dream, but her voice shakes. Jack listens quietly, his face unreadable. Then he says, "You know, sometimes the people we love don't leave, they just find new ways to stay." It's one of those Heartland lines that hits deeper than it seems. Jack's words stay with her, and from that point on, Amy stops running from what she feels. She starts to believe that maybe love really is strong enough to find its way back. Later in the episode, Lindy draws a picture. It's her mom, her grandpa, and a man standing by a horse. Amy smiles at first, but her smile fades when she notices something. The man in the drawing is wearing Ty's old jacket, the same one he used to wear around the ranch. "Who's that, sweetheart?" Amy asks softly. Lindy shrugs. "He was here last night. He said he missed you." Amy's eyes widen, but she doesn't respond. Instead, she hugs her daughter tightly, closing her eyes as if holding on to something sacred. The beauty of Ty's return isn't in whether he's physically back. It's in how his love and spirit never truly left. The episode treats his reappearance not as a ghost story, but as a testament to connection that time can't erase. It's emotional, raw, and deeply poetic. Every scene builds toward an invisible reunion, one that happens not through words or touch, but through the heart. By the final act, Amy rides Spartan across the open field at dusk. The wind rushes against her face, and for the first time in years, she doesn't feel alone. The sky glows orange, the same color it did the day she and Ty first rode together. The music rises, that signature guitar and piano blend that always meant something big was coming. She glances over her shoulder, and for a brief, impossible second, we see a silhouette riding beside her. Ty calm, smiling, proud. And then he fades into the golden light. Amy doesn't cry. She just whispers, "I know," as if acknowledging what her heart already understood. Ty may not have returned in the way fans expected, but his presence changes everything. It's not about bringing him back. It's about showing that real love never truly leaves. The episode ends on that hauntingly beautiful note, the sun setting over Heartland. The ranch alive with whispers of the past, and Amy riding forward, finally at peace with what was, and ready for what's to come. The reunion doesn't begin with a dramatic entrance or thunder in the sky. It begins with silence. A silence so deep that even the horses seem to feel it. The scene opens just before dawn. Mist covers the ranch, soft and silver, curling around the fences like a secret waiting to be told. Amy stands by the paddock, her arms wrapped around herself, watching Spartan move slowly through the fog. There's a calmness in her face, but her eyes betray the truth. She's waiting for something. Or maybe, for someone, the world feels suspended in that fragile moment between night and day. The camera drifts closer as Amy whispers under her breath, "If you're still out there, just give me a sign." Her words fade into the wind, carried beyond the fields, and for a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then Spartan stops suddenly, his ears twitching, and he turns his head toward the far side of the pasture. Amy follows his gaze. Out there, half hidden in the mist, a figure begins to take shape. At first, it's only a shadow, tall, steady, familiar. She blinks, unsure if her mind is playing tricks again, but the outline doesn't fade. It grows clearer, stronger, until she can see it. A man standing beside a horse, his head slightly bowed, his jacket catching the first light of dawn. Amy doesn't move. Her breath catches, her heart pounding in her chest. Everything around her slows down. The sound of birds, the whisper of wind, the soft clink of metal on the stable door. Time stretches thin as she takes a hesitant step forward. Ty. The name escapes her lips like a prayer she's afraid to say out loud. The figure lifts his head. For the first time in years, she sees his face, calm, gentle, and just as she remembered. There's no grand music, no explosion of sound. Just the quiet gasp of a woman seeing her heart come back to life. She takes another step. Her hands tremble, her eyes blur with cares. Ty doesn't speak. He only smiles, that small, half grin that used to melt away every bit of her anger, every ounce of her fear. It's real, and yet unreal, as if the moment exists somewhere between this world and the next. The closer Amy gets, the more the light around him seems to shimmer, warm and golden. When she finally reaches him, there's only one word that escapes her mouth: how? He doesn't answer. He simply reaches out, and for a second, their hands almost touch. Almost. That's when Amy realizes the truth. This isn't a return to the past. It's a gift. Ty isn't there to stay. He's there to remind her that she can move forward without losing him. The camera captures her tears, but they aren't tears of sadness anymore. They're the kind that come when love finally finds peace. Ty steps closer, his voice quiet and steady. You were never alone. It's not loud, but it echoes through the air, through the land, through her soul. The fog begins to lift. Sunlight spills across the ranch, and as she blinks, he's gone, just the wind left behind, rustling through the grass where he stood. Amy stands there for a long time, motionless, her hand still outstretched. Spartan walks up behind her, nudging her shoulder gently, grounding her in the moment. She smiles through her tears, whispering, I know. There's no breakdown, no collapse, just acceptance. For the first time, she's not holding on to grief. She's holding on to love. And it no longer hurts. As she walks back toward the barn, the world feels lighter. The golden morning light touches everything it can reach, the fences, the fields, the horses, and finally, Amy herself. Inside the barn, she finds Lindy brushing a small pony. The little girl looks up and beams, Mom, Grandpa said breakfast's ready. Amy nods, her voice soft but steady. Okay, sweetheart. I'll be right there. As she hangs up her coat, something falls from the pocket, Ty's bracelet. It lands in the dust, right next to her boots. She kneels, picking it up gently, and this time, instead of tears, a smile spreads across her face. She ties it around her wrist again, the same way she did years ago. The music swells, that familiar, bittersweet melody that fans know too well. The scene cuts to a wide shot of Amy walking toward the house, the rising sun painting her path in gold. The ranch glows with life, and though Ty is gone, his spirit lingers in every corner, every whisper of wind. The camera pans up toward the sky, showing a hawk soaring freely, a silent symbol of everything Heartland stands for. Love, loss, and the strength to keep flying. The reunion isn't about bringing Ty back. It's about giving Amy, and all of us watching, the closure we've been waiting for. It's the understanding that love doesn't vanish when someone leaves. It transforms, it lives on in memories, in gestures, in the quiet strength to face another day. Heartland has always been about that, about finding hope where there was heartbreak, and light where there was shadow. As the credits roll, the final shot stays on Amy's face. The pain is still there, but it's no longer the kind that breaks her. It's the kind that reminds her of how deeply she once loved. She takes a deep breath, looks toward the horizon, and whispers the words Ty once told her, "Keep writing." And with that, she turns back toward the stables, ready for a new day, carrying not just memories of the past, but the peace of knowing that love never really says goodbye.